Midwestern style of boxing that was taught by Roger Mayweather to me, because he coached me in the amateurs. And over in the Northeast, all you have is, peekaboo, which really just falls into the line of just fight with your hands up and run in and be aggressive. And there's not much technical things being taught with the boxing scene down in the Northeast, not just Connecticut.
Right. Well, that'll bring us right into Mamba. So there was a gentleman, you were out in Vegas?
Yes.
And were you always into boxing as a kid?
Yeah, but I got more competitive with it around 17 years old.
Okay. So you're out in Vegas and you just happen to step in this gym?
No, it wasn't like that. I started as an amateur in Connecticut and things were going well, competing wise, but I wasn't able, with the gym I came from, hence what I was saying before, to box the way I felt I could box. And I'm very close with the CEO of Grant Boxing, which is why they sponsor our club. And we're the only club in the world that they sponsor, even though they're, the top brand in the business that Floyd Mayweather used.
Right.
And he got me a tour around a bunch of Vegas gyms to find a new home and reside out there for a time being. And I went to the Mayweather Boxing Club out of many gyms, Richard Steele's, Johnny Taco's, the Hit Factory, which was Zab Judah's dad's gym, which closed down. But there are a lot of places. 50 Cent had a gym down there, Top Rank, which is HBO owned. And I just hit it off with Roger, not right away. It took 3 months of getting beat down 5 days a week and returning while you'd watch other people quit, and just believing that there's more to be learned there, and there was. And then we became really, really close, and Roger was a huge mentor, almost like an older brother more than like a dad to me. But he trained a lot of people.
That's awesome. So there's no relation, right? Mayweather?
Yes, there is. Floyd was trained by his uncle.
Okay.
So Roger took over because Floyd's dad was locked up for the wonder years of his career. From I think it's the second fight on, Jeff was always in the background, who continues to mentor me, and that's Roger's youngest brother.
Okay.
But Roger died 2 years ago, so right around the time that we opened the gym was around the time that he passed away, and I dedicated the club to him, hence why it's named Mamba Boxing Club, because he was a black Mamba. And Jeff helped, he came down, did a seminar for the first 25 members. We cap our memberships at 75. We're capped right now, actually, even though no one knows about us. But we capped when we had a grand opening last weekend. So we had our first grand opening after being open for 2 years.
That's a good problem to have.
It's a good problem to have, but you still want people to know, and you still want people to want to be there,
Right.
and want to come in and want to learn about it.
So how do you go about, is it almost to the point where you need a second gym?
I think my goal is not massive, but it's to spread awareness and direction within the Northeast of the country, where I think that boxing isn't really being taught properly, and there are not a lot of establishments like this. There's none. I grew up in Long Island in a place called Seacliff that I miss very much. I love Milford. I went to high school in Fairfield, but there's a lot of similarities between Connecticut and Long Island, and that's one of them. So I do think that one day, maybe, perhaps, I don't want to go too into detail, there will be another establishment, but it will never be franchised, and it will never be without the heart in it and the message and the legacy being spread out.
Right.
Yeah.
And the local feel of the community. And
right.
All that.
Right. Exactly. But we do want to teach the Midwestern style in the Northeast.
So do you feel, and we will touch on this a little bit later, like the MMA, I grew up in boxing. There was no MMA back then.
Right.
I grew up with, Tyson and Foreman and,
There was Don Fryer and the Gracies.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
They weren't mainstream.
No, not at all. No. Not at all.
So it never crossed, especially television was, when I grew up, 8 stations at most.
Right.
Cable was just coming along. HBO was just coming along. And obviously they were probably one of the biggest boxing.
They're the front runners.
Yes, they were the ones. You know, you had Lampley and
Oh,
it was Saturday Night Boxing on HBO. I was always glued to it. Tyson had me, you know, at hello. I mean, when I first saw him, and it took me a while. So a lot of my friends are MMA guys. Like, watch. It took me a while. Like, I don't know if it's because I bartend and I'm always working Saturday night, so I never see pay-per-views. But, like, I've been to MMA events and I've been to boxing events. I feel there, like, when you're there, boxing is much better. I think you can see stuff better visually. You know, you don't have this octagon and there's not a fence in front of you. You know, it's just ropes. You know, it obviously depends where you sit. But, you know, I've been really close to an MMA fight and I just didn't feel of what I felt. You know, I went to Gotti Ward 3.
okay.
And one of the most craziest things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
You know, those
Both
two
guys fight their hearts out.
Oh, my God.
And then he got his ass whooped by Floyd.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
He stepped the class up.
Yeah.
So my question is, I'm not saying boxing is dying or dead or any of that. Do you feel it? You know, it's a roller coaster. It was really down for a while, especially the heavyweight division in the 2000s. Was really down. No names. You feel it's, you know, coming back up now?
I think, like, piggybacking off what you said, and Elvis from Grant, the CEO, would say, it's a roller coaster. Yeah. Boxing just is that way. I saw the Tyson bite Evander Holyfield's ear on TV when I was a kid, and my dad was watching it. My dad's a major Cassius Clay fan, so he liked Ali before he changed to Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's like what Russ Amber, another trainer I follow, who's an amazing coach out of Montreal, said about the difference between MMA and boxing is, you know, I train in martial arts now just for my mind and for my flexibility, from a 8-time world champion from Korea. But it's totally different. And I think a lot of guys, you know, MMA attracts a certain type of person that is more of a jack of all trades. There's so many variables, and it's hard to even call it a sport because no one is a master of anything. So they just, you know, whatever they could take you down with, they all know a little bit.
Right.
And they say,
grapplers or
yeah, you know. And a little bit of knowledge is a dangerous thing. So I think what's great about boxing is they're all doing the same thing. There's only 2 variables, and that's your left and your right. So when you're a master at that, it becomes more of a sweet science, which is what they call it. Yep. And, you know, it's a lot more fun to watch and break down, where, you know, MMA is just like all over the place, and then all of a sudden it gets brutal.
Right.
For me, not a fan.
Yeah.
But I definitely get the draw. I think that boxing is coming back because people see that, you know, and they're kind of like, oh, this is kind of hit or miss. Right. Where boxing is more, you could look at different skill levels and really come up with a determination of who's the better fighter.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it's you know, I feel like MMA, like, you could be a heavy favorite, but, you know, guy slips in one knee to the jaw and it's over.
Yeah, and there's that in boxing, too.
You can get hit by a left hook and
sure.
not see it coming. And
puncher's chance.
That's happened to Tyson.
Yeah, bolo punch.
Yep,
but
it feels more relevant or more prominent in that sport.
Yeah, 100%.
You're just flying in all directions and, you know, choking people out or whatever, you know. I had Nick Newell on the show over a year ago.
Good friend.
Yeah, awesome.
I like him. I love Roger Denton.
He just won.
He has FAA.
Yes. He just won a couple matches. He submitted 3 guys the other day.
Amazing what he's one arm,
too.
man.
Yeah, one arm, man.
I mean, he's incredible. He also knows a good friend out of Vegas. When I go down there now, not only do I still train with Jeff a little bit, even though it's different than Roger and everything because it's part of mentoring, but I do Muay Thai with Dewey Cooper, who's now training Francis Ngannou, who's fighting Tyson Fury. But Dewey Cooper's coach was Jeff Mayweather for boxing, and another guy that I train with out of a gym down there that does Muay Thai, very, very prominent coach in MMA named Nick One Kick. And Nick One Kick and Nick Newell are good friends.
Oh, yeah.
But I also know the second coach that trains at FAA, Roger Denton. And he's a nutcase, great guy. And we get along really, really well. But all those guys, they're serious. You know, those guys are masters at their craft, but there are a lot of MMA fighters that just are luck of the draw kind of deal.
Yeah. I had my girlfriend's son, Braden. He went to some of the classes.
Okay.
And Roger would teach a lot of them.
Oh, boy.
And I would just come back at the end. I'm like, how do you like Roger? Whew. Love him, but he's fucking he's whacked.
Yeah, man. And he has a lot of injuries, too.
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, by the way, where are you located in Milford?
405 Boston Post Road across from the PD.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you're over in that area.
Yep.
Oh, nice. It's funny you drive down like Route 1 or Boston Post Road. You ever really look into plazas?
Not only that, but we're set back.
Are you?
We're like set, like our driveway is just like in the road, and then you have to really look in to find us.
Are you in a plaza or are you standing?
We are in a plaza.
What else is in there?
A barber shop, an insurance company, and a wedding dress maker.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah. And then you guys.
And then us. Yeah. Nice. Fits right in.
How did Mayweather get his Black Mamba? Was he Black Mamba before?
He was Black Mamba before Kobe Bryant.
Oh, good. That's
Yep.
good.
Yeah, he always called himself the original.
I still have this cough. I'm sorry.
It's the way it is. It's the change in seasons right now.
Oh my god, it's fucking nuts. All right, so you're on the post road. So are you not currently accepting members?
We're taking a wait list right now. We did that was the grand opening that we did 2 weeks ago, even though it's been 2 years, was an open house. That's why we did it. We capped at that. You know, every now and then someone will drop, whether it's, you know, even though they're not trying hard, they say it's because it's not for them, but it could be for anybody. Right. And other times people move or something. So we have a wait list, and then we call those people up once they contact us and invite them in. It's a private facility. Everything's blacked out just like it is in Vegas or California.
Right.
You can't just walk in, keep out weird people because it's a combat gym, but also to keep out, you know, taking attention from people that are trying to learn and stuff like that.
Sometimes I wish we could black out Stonebridge and no one could see in.
Wouldn't that be great?
Oh, man.
I wonder what would happen inside, though.
I love this town of Milford, but there are some wacky fucking people in this town. I was literally in line at CVS yesterday to get a prescription. I'm like, I will talk to anybody. But you know how you get in the mode, you're just like, I don't want to talk to anybody.
Right.
I'm in CVS. I just want my script. I got to go to work. I don't want to talk to anybody. And I had this wacky dude in front of me. And he turns around. He's like, you got an iPhone? And I'm like, fuck, here we go. I look behind me to see if anyone's behind me. Nope. I'm like, oh, you're talking to me? Yeah, you got an iPhone? I'm like, yeah. He goes, oh, all right. When you get free time, Google 2013 Bud Light commercial. You're just going to laugh your ass off. And I'm like, where the fuck is this coming from?
Yeah, what do you have, Bud Light on your back or something?
No. If you listen to the show, you know. No.
Oh, right. Right.
And I'm just like, okay. He goes, and then he got into the whole commercial about it was some Clydesdale commercial from the Super Bowl or whatever. And he's just, fuck. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I just opened Pandora's box with this dude.
Oh, shit.
And of course, the lady that's in front of us at the teller is getting like 17,000 prescriptions. So he just starts talking random gibberish. You know, I'm looking at my phone. I'm looking at my watch. I'm looking at fucking vagina cream on the... I'm just trying to direct my attention so he gets it, because I don't want to be rude.
Right, of course.
Well, here we go. He just keeps going. And finally, the lady leaves. She goes, next. The guy walks up to the front and goes, oh, no, I might have a prescription. What's your last name? No, you don't. Okay, thanks, bye. So he wasn't even in line for anything. Just to talk to me. Sorry about that.
Good thing I keep those.
That's why I want blinders on. I want to be at like wherever I go sometimes.
Well, what's actually funny is
I'm forced to talk at work.
Sometimes we keep it open, like for members if it's raining out, whatever, and for the kids because they don't have access directly to the club when we're not there.
Right.
The members do. So I keep it open the other day, and just from being around like Vegas boxing and stuff, like you get used to this aura that people have when they come in. So I'm in there, and he seemed like he was Russian, but I guess they were Polish. This guy comes in. You could tell he's business. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
usually my instinct is I kick you right out. Like, did you read the sign on the door?
Right.
Email me.
Yeah.
You know?
No soliciting.
But they're just sitting on the mat. Big 6'3", 6'4" guy. I can't even say his name. Like, Andres Warrenik. But he's a 33-0 world champion through the WBC. And he was just visiting Connecticut because his friend lives down here. So he just came by, and I guess he heard about us, which is kind of cool.
That's awesome.
And he just wanted to see the club, and he took all these pictures and put it on his Instagram. And he was a really, really cool guy. I let them look around and stuff, and yeah, I guess we're making noise, but that was cool. So, I mean, every now and then, right?
Yeah.
But most of the time, I mean, we had a guy come in once when the door was unlocked, and he got on his hands and knees and started praising the ground. And he goes, "Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here." And I walk up to him, and I'm like, no, man. What are you doing?
Right.
And he goes, I'm autistic. And I'm like, okay, I'm really sorry to hear that. Like, you got to go.
Right.
But you just get weird people. And when we first opened, you got a bunch of kids that were, like, trying to look for a fight or pick a fight. One had to be removed by the PD in the parking lot, like, kicking and screaming. It was pretty nuts. But I've seen things in Vegas gyms that make that look like
nothing.
Like nothing,
right,
yeah.
Right.
And I have a few stories, but yeah, that's why we keep it locked.
Are you guys co-ed?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What's your how many female clientele you have?
I'd say somewhere around like 12 and 13.
That's not bad.
Yeah. Yeah. One of them, she was training up with me till like 8 weeks, about to have a baby. And then she just had the child 2 days ago.
Oh, wow.
So we,
Congrats.
Congrats for her. And amazing.
Yeah.
She's an amazing woman. She's been with me for about 8 years.
So you personally train her?
I personally train her, but she's a member. You have to be a member to do one-on-one. And
is that included with the membership?
One-on-one's not.
So
no,
that's extra.
It's extra.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, she is now out for a few months. So, yeah, we had a open situation where we lost someone, but they'll be back. But that's what happens sometimes. But
right.
One guy looked at her during a session. We don't have classes. We call them sessions. And he said, you make me look like terrible, because when I first came in, I was scared, and I was scared to get hit. But here you are, about to pop, and you're just going at it. And she looks at him and goes, "Yeah, no excuses." And I was like, "That's awesome." Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
I mean, I know boxing and fight clubs or whatever you want to call them. It's a whole different mentality.
Yeah.
I can't even throw a right hook anymore because of my shoulder and my carpal tunnel and stuff.
Oh, sure.
But I know a lot of guys that were into boxing. I have one quick boxing story. I was a freshman in college, and I went to University of Haven.
Okay.
And we had like these little, like the freshman dorm was like 5 bedrooms and then a little hall, like a community hall, which was maybe the size of this whole studio. And some upperclassmen came in with some boxing gloves.
No boy.
And I don't know how to fucking box, but I had a lot of energy back then and whatever. So a couple guys are boxing. I'm like, some guy looks at me and goes, "You want to throw on the gloves?" I'm like, "Sure." So I'm at like 3 minutes with this guy. And I could tell he knew how to box. He popped me a couple times. But I landed a good one. And, And
you went 3 minutes.
I went 3 minutes. Exhausted. But I landed a good one right at the end. I didn't knock him out or anything, but he felt it. And felt great to me. I got bumped around a little bit, but I kind of got the last fucking knock in, right? So there's this other kid that must have been his buddy that got pissed that I got that shot in, because he's probably never seen his buddy get hit before. And I'll tell you right now, it was all fucking luck. I just, I had no skill. And
Bolo punch.
Yeah. And then he looks at me and he's like, "Let's go." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm fucking exhausted." He goes, No, let's go. You think you could take him? I'm like, "Dude, I'm like, whatever."
You just let all your gas
Yeah. I'm like, "Fine." So we're about 30 seconds in. We haven't really thrown a punch yet. And I backed up and I didn't know where I was. Like within the ring, let's say. I backed up and I put my gloves up, and he kind of hit me around it with a good, hit me pretty good. But my head hit this fucking concrete wall behind me.
Oh, shit.
Like boom, boom. And I got concussion.
Yeah.
And I just, I called time. I got down and eat. And this motherfucker is like parading around, talking shit, pointing at me. I'm like, dude, one, I was exhausted. Two, it wasn't the punch that fucking just knocked me out.
Right.
And I vowed again never to box.
Yeah. Hey.
But like that was the thing back then. And we
experience.
use real boxing gloves, and it's funny, like you put a real boxing, like I got Nick Newell's gloves up there, but those are MMA. You know, real ones are heavy.
Oh yeah.
Everyone thinks, oh, they're wearing pads and punching it. No,
it's added weight.
Added weight. Yeah. So have you fought professionally?
Not pro, amateur. Yeah. I fought pros.
What's your amateur record?
30-4.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that's Vegas here?
Both. Yep.
Both, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Do you do amateur matches in your gym, or you guys go?
Not yet. We might in the future. It's a whole process with USA Boxing to have to come down and sanction it. Make sure that your facility's up to par. You have to pay them to get the officials and all that. I do want to hold an event. A lot of clubs and gyms hold events. There's just a major historical one in Greenwich that had like 4,000 people, and that had 4 jumbotrons and was outside by the water. And this was the first time anything like this has been done, let alone in the state of Connecticut.
Yeah.
So, hopefully things continue to happen like that. I have my own dreams of doing something like that, but you usually go outside of your facility to hold an event, but you don't have to. You can do it inside your facility. You just got to get the
licensing for it.
Licensing, but
Blessing.
Same thing, right?
Right.
Semantics.
Right. With the state of boxing, how it is now, it's kind of been this way forever. Before you got here, I was looking at all the current champions.
And what I meant to say was semantics. I said semantics.
Whatever. Yeah. Semantics.
Yeah, right.
I was looking at all the current champs, and I think one of the problems and I find this problem with soccer is I can't get too invested in it because I think it's like I like NFL. Boom, it's in front of me.
Sure.
There's 32 teams. They all play for one thing. It's 4 major sports. Baseball, basketball, football, hockey. They all have the same thing. They're doing some dumb in-season tournament in the NBA now, whatever. But like when Messi went to Miami, they won something. It was like an in-season something, and then the regular season picks back up, and they don't make the playoffs. So when I look at boxing, let's stick with soccer. There's all these leagues. I can't follow it. With boxing, it's so hard to unify a belt, right?
Well, I mean, we had the 4-belt era.
Right. Yeah.
Which to me is like
WBC,
still WBO, IBF, and
yeah,
WBO,
yeah. So why can't they just get their shit together?
I mean, I have no problem with the four belts.
Yeah.
I'll deal with that. But I agree. But I think that...
I'm saying for a casual view.
I think it's easy to answer that question when you really think about it. I think boxing was made because of the way that it was put into play, who was in power, mostly the mafia at the time. Mm-hmm. I think that it's been made to have vulnerabilities so that corruption can be there. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like a lot of people say what you're saying, but they don't realize that boxing is a business disguised as a sport.
Right.
That's one of the sayings. And it's designed in a way so that it can be corrupted. The people want their money.
Any sport that is judged is designed to be corrupted.
Right. Like the Olympics.
Yep.
So
gymnastics.
Yeah.
Diving.
Yeah,
whatever. Exactly. They're not on the grand stage there's not the same kind of money.
No.
But at the same time, in different countries it is.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, boxing has a ton of money, right? Like, boxing, you can't say that about, because boxing, people make millions and millions of dollars just for one fight in their purse, whether they win or lose, and that has nothing to do with what they do after the fight, right? With their careers or what marketing they get, what deals they get.
But if you look at sports as a whole now, I don't want to see boxing lag behind, because it's all about TV money now.
Right.
I know they've been doing pay-per-views since the dawn of time, as does, MMA. And they're doing crossover events, whatever. I think they're stupid. But the NFL, like, you look at the NFL. Would you rather go to a game or sit in your fucking man cave with surround sound, not worrying about drinking and driving?
See it better, too.
You got a 70-inch screen. You
see it better.
Yeah, you see it better. And I think with boxing, not that, it's an attendance sport, but I feel, if they make it simpler with the belts and what we're really going at and promote the boxers better. I think back in the day they promoted better with, like I said, 8 channels.
Right.
Than they do now.
Absolutely.
I was looking down the champions list outside of Tyson Fury and Canelo. I didn't know a lot of those names.
Right.
And, I'm not a huge boxing fan per se, but it always interests me. I like to see the big fights. I'm casual. But at the same time, I'm going down this list. I'm like, who?
Trust me, you're less casual than most people.
I'm a sports guy.
Yeah.
So if I know something's big coming up, I will do a little research. Like with soccer. Not a soccer guy, but watch the fucking World Cup. I watched when Messi went first game in Miami in school. I like moments like that.
Right.
And I think boxing needs a real promoter, like a Dana White. Like that is, he might not be the best loved guy within the sport, but he's the Don King of his generation. Promoting these guys.
Well, that's because
I mean to promote the sport, not the individual guys.
Well, that's because the promoters like Al Heyman don't even want their name said. You know what I mean? Because they're staying on the back end of things. A lot of, the Bob Arums and stuff like that, they just want to make their money. Right. So if you dare reached in their pocket and suggested that there should just be one Dana White, I mean, you might get your head cut off.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that'll change eventually because he founded it. He founded the UFC. Not that there weren't other competing companies.
Well, he brought it together.
But he did. And I met him once in Boston, and he was the nicest guy.
He's brilliant.
Yeah.
He's brilliant.
Yeah. His backstory is pretty crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. He was like working in Boston, and I think he worked for like a construction company.
He worked with Roger.
Did he?
And Nick One Kid.
Yeah.
In the same gym.
Oh, yeah?
He has a story about Roger, and it's on Joe Rogan's podcast, but about Roger kicking, when he was 45, kicking some 28-year-old heavyweight's ass to the point that he got on his knees and begged to stop, and Roger leaned in and goes, "No rounds with me, motherfucker," and just keeps hitting him. I mean, Roger was brutal, but, this guy's name, I think, was Tracy. But, yeah, he worked with the Mayweathers very close. They all worked together in Vegas because that's the Mecca.
Right.
Yep.
Oh, man. I just wish the casual fan would, or not even a casual fan, I just wish they would promote the sport, let's say, a little better. Make it easier to watch.
Classier.
Like ESPN does their best, or they used to be pretty good at it, Saturday night fights, but it was always late on the weekends.
It's always late.
I relate it to like the WNBA. Like ESPN is like, pays all this money. It's a losing business. Not saying boxing is. It loses money annually, and they just had their finals, and they put Game 3 on a fucking Sunday against football.
Brutal.
Have it Monday at 7. When it's over, people can go watch Monday Night Football.
Right.
Or it's like, what do you got? Like,
well, the amateur events are on Saturday. One of my fighters just fought at 12:30 at night because USA Boxing was so disorganized.
Right.
That's not really that fair. You know what I mean? And then when you think about it, if every state is having amateur fights on Saturdays, but the pro fights are on Saturdays, and who's supporting these pro fights?
Right.
They can't even get home in time because their fighters are fighting.
Right.
To watch the pro fight. It's all a mess. I mean, it's on way too late. Way too late. Yeah.
Way too late. Yeah, agreed. Like, and I think what they should do is, their next big fight, don't make it a pay-per-view. UFC does this a lot.
Yeah.
They'll show some big cards.
They're much better at it.
Yeah.
Much better at it.
You're going to get the advertising money, promote it for 3 months.
Right.
And of course a lot of these guys back out, or they get hurt, or they test poorly, or I don't know. It's a weird sport, man.
Yeah.
When it comes to that stuff. All right, who are some of your favorite boxers from your childhood now?
I mean, that's hard to say childhood because I grew up on Evander Holyfield and Mike Tyson. And I think that was everybody's like childhood favorites. I mean, Floyd Mayweather was technically my childhood. So obviously, if I look at history, I like Marvin Hagler. I like Pernell Whitaker, who fought Roger. I like Roger. I would say I like Sugar Ray Robinson, but you can't really see a lot of footage of him,
right?
Because that's so old. If we go to now, I like Jourdan Ennis, Shakur Stevenson, Gervonta Davis, Carmel Moulton, who's coming up and just had his pro debut, and I've met him and talked to him at the Mayweather Boxing Club. He's always there. All these big names that Terrence Crawford. I like Errol Spence. These are all great fighters.
I knew about half of them.
Yeah, that's okay. Shakur Stevenson and Jourdan Ennis are still coming up. Yeah, Terrence Crawford just beat Spence.
Okay.
He's a hell of a fighter, but I think he's saying he's going to be done soon.
Yeah.
So
I don't blame a lot of these guys. And why do you want to get your veins beat in for 2 decades?
No, I love Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
I love Tyson Fury.
He's a funny dude.
He's a really funny guy.
And he's actually a very good technical boxer.
Yes.
Especially
for what he looks like and the size. And he doesn't even, he talks about not taking care of himself. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy talent and hardworking.
He's like a Irish gypsy, isn't he?
I don't know if it's Irish or English or somewhere in between, but he's a gypsy, 100%, the whole family.
So I grew up on Tyson, Hagler, Hearns.
Yep. Hearns is in our gym too.
Was he?
Yeah.
So I remember.
Not him, but we have a poster.
Gotcha.
In the gym, yeah.
By the way, I did watch the video of your shit. It's fucking awesome. All brand new.
Thank you.
Fucking state of the art stuff. It's like just a little shout out to that. I grew up on those guys. I remember I used to watch in my little black and white TV. Was it Sugar Ray Leonard against Hagler?
Yeah, Sugar Ray Leonard's great.
Yep.
Duran.
Yep.
Roberto Duran. Love him.
No Mas.
Oh, amazing. What a fighter.
Yeah. But then Tyson came on the scene when I was in my, I guess he was mid-80s. Little maybe 86, 87. So, yeah.
I like, you're talking about, because, what's his name? One of Jeff Mayweather's favorite fighters is drawing a blank right now. But also Tommy Morrison.
Tommy Gunn.
And I love the heavyweights of that era.
Yeah. Spinks.
Lennox Lewis is pretty good.
Lennox Lewis. Who'd you just mention?
Michael Nunn, who was trained by Joe Goosen at one point, and they called him second to none. He was an amazing fighter too. Lennox
Lewis or Holyfield, I can't remember which one it was. Used to train. My mom used to have a house up in the Poconos, and it was like a private community. And I think it was Lennox Lewis. He's the one from Britain, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think it was him that trained in that, like
it
was like Rocky style training, like running.
Yeah, he's a great fighter.
Do you remember? I remember exactly where I was when the fan guy flew in air. What is it called? The fan man that flew into the ring.
Oh yeah,
and was it Holyfield? Bow?
I'm not sure what fight that was. I know exactly what it could. I think it might have been Riddick Bowe.
Yeah, I think it was Bowe and Holyfield.
Yep.
And I was at it's no longer there, but it was Milford Highlight.
Yeah.
And they showed all the pay-per-views back then. So every Saturday, I wasn't working at Stonebridge then. It's been 90s, I guess it was, and we'd go down over there and watch the fights, and you could bet on them.
Yep.
And fucking really, it was just like so confusing what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
But I liked Holyfield. But Tyson, I'll always remember where I was when I found out he lost to Buster Douglas.
And Riddick Bowe. Did he fight Riddick Bowe?
I don't think so.
No, I'm thinking of someone else. But yeah, Buster Douglas when he lost.
Because I mean, Douglas obviously was his downfall to losing. That is when he spiraled out of control in life.
Right.
And ended up in prison.
Right.
And then when he came out, he fought some kid from Boston.
I mean, he technically lost to Holyfield, too.
Right. Yeah. Right, yeah. By beer.
Yeah, he was losing before that. Yeah.
So I was watching the NBA All-Star game. See, back then everything was tape delayed, but they were fighting in Japan. So that was, 12 hours or whatever, So me and my buddy were watching the NBA All-Star game in whatever year it was, 87, 88, on ABC. And the announcers I was like, Bob Costa says, Mike Tyson has lost. And we look at each other like, what? Because he was like 50-1 or, Douglas was 50-1 to win that fight.
Yeah, people didn't know Buster Douglas, and Roger would always talk about boxing history. He was a very, very good Midwestern boxer.
Yeah.
People just didn't know.
And then he lost his shit after that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
You know, a lot of these guys can't handle the
Not
fame.
because he wasn't good, but because he couldn't handle the fame.
Right.
Yeah.
He got up to like close to 400 pounds. He gained all this weight.
Yeah. Another one is Oliver McCall, and he was really, really good from the Midwest.
Yeah.
But he lost. You know, Roger would take us over to this collage that we have, like our own collage in the gym, and he would just point at it and say, "Who's he?" And he'd say, "He lost to him, Midwestern boxer."
Yeah.
You know, he was a
it.
big on to the Midwestern boxers.
Yeah. Wow. And the thing about Tyson too is he was such a historian of the game too.
Right.
He really knows his shit.
He just knows history.
Yes.
Boxing history, but history in general.
Everyone thinks he's kind of a dope, but he's not. He's very intelligent.
He's super smart.
When
was super
Customato
smart.
passed away, that was kind of it too.
And then you have Teddy Atlas, who's extremely intelligent.
Yep.
You know,
he had a team behind him back then.
yeah,
he was unbelievable. I mean,
Kevin Rooney.
It was
Al
it was a
Bernstein.
joke. It was a joke back then because the pay-per-views, they were still pretty expensive back there, $40, $50.
Yeah,
And you knew you were only going to get 60 seconds of an event.
Right.
But you didn't care.
Right.
You just wanted to see Tyson fight. And
Right.
knock somebody fucking... The Spinks fight, I think, lasted 41 seconds or something.
amazing.
And that dude was big. Spinks was a good boxer.
He was a great boxer.
Yes. Oh, man. Bringing back all these memories of childhood.
Yeah, boxing is one of those things that does that.
Yeah.
You know, it's very nostalgic.
It is. And I really hope it makes it... I'm not saying it's dead, but if we can get back to the 80s and 90s... Especially the heavy. I mean, the heavyweight's where you want to see it.
Floyd did a lot of good for the sport.
He did.
And I think that when he retired, it kind of went a little.
Can I argue
downhill.
that his style wasn't really?
I think you could argue anything, but I think that the
To the
fact that
casuals
he's
fan.
undefeated in a way hurt it because of how the kids coming up now think of it.
What do you think about the Paul brothers?
No, I mean, great businessmen. No, I'll leave it at that.
Are they actually going to fight somebody that isn't a crossover?
Good businessmen, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
You know.
I think it was it Jake that went the full rounds with Mayweather?
Yeah.
I mean,
No, it was Logan.
It was Logan. And
so much size difference there.
true. And
age.
and it was an exhibition.
Right.
So, I'm sure they were like, "Don't knock me out." I think you say it perfectly. They're great businessmen. Before they got into boxing, they just marketed themselves very well. I'm not a huge fan either way. I know our Milford boy hangs with them on their podcast, but yeah, I just wanted to lose once. But I feel like I feel almost that they're a little humble too, which I didn't expect out of them.
Right. Yeah. Like
They are.
They're definitely.
They're not like super cocky.
Definitely
they're cocky
would
in
be
life,
like.
but-
I feel like if I hung out with them,
right.
I'd
Yeah,
get along
exactly.
great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're super smart. There's no stupidity there. They know exactly what they're doing. You know.
Well, they did buy a $2 million Pokemon box and it was fake. So
When you have a lot of money to spend.
yeah, it's like me buying a fucking iced coffee with almond milk in it instead of regular.
Right.
That was my $5 mistake.
Right.
It's the equivalent to their $2 million.
Yeah.
mistake.
Exactly. There you go.
Let's get into some movies. One of my favorite topics. We can talk any movies you want, but we'll start with boxing. 2 questions. What's your favorite boxing movie? Limit it to 2 if you want. And what's your most realistic boxing movie, non-documentary, realistic boxing movie that you've seen? And you can't say Rocky because that is not.
No. No.
Rocky never put his hands up, ever.
No, I mean, Rocky, it was like, I think the first Rocky was kind of like how people thought of boxing back then.
Yeah.
Just cut open the eye.
Yeah.
Make me bleed more, you know?
Yeah.
I really like The Fighter, man.
Yes. That was Mickey Ward.
Yeah, that was Mickey Ward, and I like the story, and I think, what's funny is, like, if you look at these franchise clubs, or even, there's a guy that I know who's a terrible boxer and pro. He was a sparring partner. He was bad then, and he became a coach. A lot of guys that become coaches shouldn't, even though they were fighters. If you see some of these guys hold pads, they're freaking extremely awful. Christian Bale is such a talented freaking actor. Like, if you see him in Vice, I mean, playing Dick Cheney, it's incredible.
Yeah.
But the way he held pads in The Fighter, it was like he's better than most coaches.
You're right.
I mean, that movie's epic.
Yeah.
That movie's freaking amazing. I love that movie.
And it touches on, social concerns with drugs and all that. And, especially in, they're outside of Boston. And
right.
That's kind of how those towns have been for years.
Right. And I'm a huge, this is kind of off because I'm a huge Max Baer fan. And I'm a huge Russell Crowe fan. So I loved Cinderella Man. I did not like its portrayal of Max Baer, and his family also noted on that. But I love that film.
Yeah.
I love that film. So I would say The Fighter and Cinderella Man would probably be my top 2 boxing movies of all time. There's none that, I still haven't seen the Vinny Pazienza movie, and someone portrayed Roger in that movie.
Oh, yeah?
Because he fought Vinny.
Oh.
And I still haven't seen it bleed for this. I heard great things, though. I heard fantastic things. I should probably go home and watch it today.
Yeah.
But those, Cinderella Man as of right now and The Fighter would be my top 2. I don't really like Southpaw. Not really a big fan of Southpaw.
Well, I don't like Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, I mean, I
shouldn't have to do anything with the story, but
I like Gyllenhaal.
Do you?
I do, and I liked Jarhead. I liked Jarhead.
We can go into war movies too.
And I like Kurt Sutter. We could talk them all day, but I love Kurt Sutter as a writer. So I don't know where Southpaw really got
wrong.
Yeah, but it didn't work for me.
I don't think I've ever watched it in its entirety, but I just couldn't.
Well, there you go.
I couldn't get into it. My 2 faves are we share common, The Fighter, but Rocky 4.
But you said we can't say Rocky.
No.
Oh, okay.
I said you can't say Rocky for most realistic.
Oh, okay. Got you.
But Rocky 4, if you don't get goosebumps like 6 times in that movie, and it's all chill. It's all like, him training in Russia, outrunning the Russian car.
During the time,
Creed
too.
dies.
Because I'm sure you like Miracle.
Miracle, oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was that time period.
Yeah,
right.
Right. The Cold War.
Right.
All that stuff. I don't know.
And it's relevant now.
Yeah, right. 100%. I think if I'm sitting on my couch and it's a Sunday on TNT, I don't turn it off.
I mean, I can't turn off any Rocky movie if it comes on.
Yeah.
I
think the ones the only one I haven't seen yet is Creed 3.
I don't watch. Creed is not Rocky to me. And I didn't like the first one, so I won't watch
Did you like 5? We were talking about Tommy Gunn Morrison.
Yeah, I mean, because, yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know, like...
You can say whatever you want to say. I didn't write the movie. So
I thought the fucking ending was fantastic.
Right.
The street fight.
Right.
But I thought, like, all leading up to it...
that was really cool.
Was just like, okay, great, our dude's got dementia. His wife died. He now owns a shitty Italian restaurant. Where are we going with this?
What about Balboa?
Again, like, that was... Who was in that? Who was the real boxer that was in that? Who did he fight?
I don't know. I don't remember.
It wasn't Mayweather, but it was like an older...
I can't remember.
Because he fought a real boxer in the end.
You have to look it up.
I guess so.
Because we have to know. Now it's going to kill me. Because I've seen that movie like 3 times, and that's not even the... what's funny about Balboa is the fighting doesn't stick out to me in Balboa, but I still love the movie.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to go, like, I'm a Stallone guy, a Schwarzenegger guy, grew up on all those action movies. And now I'm even watching The Expendables,
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Is it worth it? Because I haven't seen any of them.
Oh, my God. Yeah, they're just fun.
Yeah?
It's like you don't have to pay attention. You can actually be on your iPhone, you just look up, and there's more explosions.
That's cool.
But, all right, we're going to figure this out. So, all right, so you did your 2 favorite. Is there any boxing movie that, like, you were like, wow, I watch football movies, I watch basketball movies, I watch hockey movies. There's always something, because I'm such a sports nut. It's like, man, they could have done that scene better. Or, especially football movies, I think the action parts of it are so terrible.
Gary Oldman and Daniel Day-Lewis are probably my number 1 actors of all time. And The Boxer had Daniel Day-Lewis in it. And I just wish it was a little bit, I don't want to say better, because Daniel Day-Lewis doesn't do bad movies, but like there are things that I wish were kind of more in it than what was.
All right, here's the cast. We got Sylvester Stallone, obviously. Oh, by the way, Burt, what's his name, just passed away.
Yeah, Burt Young. Yep.
Burt Young.
Yeah,
I loved him.
Yeah, sad. Too
you know
young.
My favorite movie
Too young.
outside of the Rocky movies he was in was Going Back to School.
Oh, okay.
With Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah,
he was like his bodyguard. Yep. I think it was like the only other movie he was in.
We also forgot to say Raging Bull. I mean, that's a good movie, too. That's a great one.
Yep. Old school. Well, Tyson was in it, but that's not who he fought. It was Rocky Balboa, right?
Yes.
Who the heck? Oh, God. Skip Bayless was in it. They had all these
Of course,
ESPN
Skip
guys
Bayless. Surprised Larry Merchant wasn't in it.
Jim Lampley. Larry Merchant was in it.
Oh, there you
Max
go.
Kellerman. Leroy Newman. Where the hell is... There's a lot of... Sorry for this.
No, I'm asking you to do it.
I know. I'm trying. Frank Stallone was in it.
His brother. I follow him online.
I must have missed it right off the rip because he was the main. It was whoever he fought in the main event. Oh, I went right by it. Antonio Tarver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
not one of my favorite fighters.
No, but he was a pro.
But he's good. He's good. He's good.
Yeah.
He's definitely good.
Yeah. So I can't really think of a boxing movie. I don't know. Maybe The Fighter had some good scenes in it.
I think The Fighter's awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, like realistic scenes.
Yeah, I mean,
you just said yourself.
Raging Bull. You know,
it's hard to like actually recreate getting punched the fuck in the face.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it definitely has. There's definitely ability with camera work to do things like that, but when you really think about it, if you take MMA versus Jean-Claude Van Damme and watch Jean-Claude Van Damme movies, I mean, or Steven Seagal, none of it's realistic. It's all choreographed. You know what I mean? So it's going to be with a boxing movie. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's just it's not always beautiful. Yeah. You know, like Bernard Hopkins falling on his head in his last fight. Like that's the kind of shit that happens. You know,
in real life.
Yeah, in real life.
Yeah. I always joked about the Rocky movies, and it's like when he would make his comeback. You know, they style it after like wrestling. You know,
right?
It's like you're up at the beginning, then you go down until you have your Hulk Hogan moment, and your arms going like this, and then he just starts taking punches to the face for a round. Like I got this.
Well, I think my favorite overall boxing, any like not realistic, but any film would be a TV show that only did one season on FX called Lights Out. Huh. That had Holt McCallany in it, who played the main character. He was a guy in Fight Club, which I love that movie, Fight Club. But that Lights Out was awesome. It was like 12 episodes long, and what I loved about it is it really painted the dynamic between the business side of it and the gym side of it. It didn't really do so well with the fighting and you know, but the training and the business part of it was like right on the nail.
If you could fight anyone,
if I could fight anyone,
who would it be?
I mean,
or who would you like? Not to get your ass kicked, but who? Like,
okay, not to get my ass
in your
kicked.
weight class. No, I mean, I don't want to fight Tyson in his prime. No, like who would you love? That's your weight class that you admire.
Now, is this back when I was a fighter?
Yeah, whatever you want to do.
Back when I was a fighter, I would take the clout to fight Floyd.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to get the clout.
Yeah.
Ass kicked or not, just to get the clout. That was back when I was a fighter, right? As long as his uncle could be in my corner and not his.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like, then I could have some secrets, you know, too.
Yeah.
But I probably wouldn't.
Did you meet Floyd?
One time. Yeah. I went up to him, I shook his hand. What was cool is when I was down in that club, they wouldn't kick us out if we were fighters for watching him spar. Oh. So we got to see him spar multiples of times.
Oh, cool.
And that was some of the best education I've ever had. But when I met him, all he said is listen to everything my uncle tells you. Yeah, everything. But what's even beyond meeting Floyd was having the experience of watching other guys and meeting them and then watching him make contact with other fighters. I mean, that was, you know, that's like college.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I went to UConn.
Oh, okay.
But my college experience was Mayweather boxing.
Oh,
Let's not
Last week we talked about the value of high school and college at this point in the world.
Yeah.
You know, with all the technology at your fingertips.
Yeah,
it's fucking crazy.
It's money. That's all it is.
Do you fear for AI?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And there's already been all these AI things in this Israel war.
You know what's funny is what fucked me up as a kid was my dad showed me like Terminator at a very young age, Terminator 1. Yeah. And he was like, you even made it through the eye gouging scene. He was like, I was like, what was this, a test? Because when we got to the part where, I was fine, and then you see him come out of the fire, and it's that metal endoskeleton, and that was coming out of the vents at night after me.
Really?
Oh, yeah, man. Well, for years. I was like 5 or 6. Now? I'm 35.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. I hate saying it.
I'm 49. Shut up.
I know. It's just so fucking short,
I have Hawkins and his buddy on. And they're both musicians.
Right.
These guys, fucking Hawkins didn't know who Eminem was. Or,
how insane is that? I bring up bands to him all the time, and he's like, nah. Yeah.
I'm like, you're here playing Rage Against the Machine,
right? So you got to know something.
He's like, I just heard the chords and the lyrics. I did it.
It's crazy. He's crazy talented.
He is. They're both actually the kid Tyler that was on 2 Vision. He's really good too. Different kind of genre of music, but
right.
Both good at excuse me, what they do. So Fury's coming up, right? He's got his heavyweight.
Yeah, I want him. I don't care about the Nagano fight, even though my boy trains him. I mean, I love Dewey Cooper, and Mike Tyson's helping out now too in that. But I'm really just waiting to get that done so I could watch him fight and win. But he's gonna go against Alexander Usyk.
Yeah, who holds the other 3 belts.
That's gonna be that's fire.
I've never seen him fight.
That's Russ Ambert's. He does the cut man for that guy.
Oh, does he?
And he's in Loma's corner too, Lomachenko.
Oh wow.
So that's one of my favorite trainers of all time. So that will be like just a great everything there.
What happened to Deontay Wilder?
Deontay Wilder is.
Was he overhyped?
No, I mean. He definitely has that power, like if you get hit with that, you're in trouble, man.
Right.
It's like me taking a sledgehammer to someone,
right.
But he's not skilled. He's not skilled like that. Like he's not on the level, The guy that came into my club was going to fight him. He was scheduled to fight him, and then there was, talk about steroids and stuff like that, so it didn't happen.
Yeah, I feel like it's a sport obviously prominent with drug use. And
what's funny, you'll love this.
Performance enhancement.
My dad went to college with what's his first name, but a guy named Finkelstein, who was the manager for Cream, Eric Clapton's Cream.
Cream, the band, yeah.
Yeah, and then he became the manager. That's how. See, this is what these USA boxing officials don't get. They're all trying to work their way up to get somewhere, so they could become a pro something.
Yeah.
It's not how it works.
Right.
Guys that managed bands like Cream become managers
for boxers.
Right. And Finkelstein was the manager for Deontay Wilder. So it's a small world.
Yeah.
You have an FAA sticker right here, and I wish I had a sticker to put on this desk. Damn it.
Yeah.
Too bad. Maybe one day.
You don't have any stickers?
Not anymore.
Do you have logos? You have a logo, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I have a logo.
I'm going to wrap this table up pretty soon, and so get me a sticker.
I will.
Yeah.
I will.
I'll go to, where do I get mine from? Stomp. They do, I don't know, they're pretty good. I got like 50 die cuts for like $12.
This is cool.
Yeah.
This is very cool.
Yeah.
Nick Newell's sticker looks really cool.
Yeah. Did you see his movie?
No.
No?
No. I didn't even know he had one.
Yeah, so somebody portrayed him.
Wow.
Yeah.
What an honor.
Yeah. I'll give you the link after.
That's way too cool.
It was an actual like movie how, when he was in college and how he won the belt, a few years back.
I mean, it's about time, right?
Yeah. And it was funny he said it on the show. We were talking about the current state of the world, and he said, the actor that portrayed him, they digitally took his arm out, and the group for handicapped people protested the movie because they didn't use a handicapped person that didn't have, and Nick was like, if that was the case, I just would have played myself. You know, like, this guy knew how to box and, you know, like, was an actor. Right. Like, we're not just going to pick somebody out with one arm and bring him on the fucking movie, or I'll do it, you know? Like,
that's funny.
Yeah. But the movie was actually very good.
Nick, it was funny before I went, because I go to Vegas like 2-3 times a year to go visit Jeff.
Yeah.
And before I went last time, I was talking to Nick, and he said, "Oh, you're going to Nick One Kick's gym." And he said, "Make sure you tell him the story that." So Nick One Kick, he's just a trainer of all things, and he has a Doberman Pinscher that he trained.
Yeah.
So I guess it saw a body dummy because of Nick's one arm last time he was there, and he just went after Nick Newell because he thought, oh, it's like a training dummy because it has no arm.
Oh, Jesus.
So I was laughing my ass off, and when I get to the gym, right when I said to Nick One Kick, hey, Nick Newell had this story for me, and he's like, I'll tell you one. And he told me the story again before I could even tell him I already knew it. Yeah, he was like, oh, I guess that really happened. I thought he was just joking because he makes fun of himself all the time.
Oh, yeah, he does.
So I thought it was just like a joke.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that actually really fucking happened. You know what I mean? But it's funny.
Nick's great, man. It was fun going in and watching his classes. I'm too old to even get in that type of shit, but
he has so many people there, man.
Yeah, he
it's
does
crazy.
The kids. He's got like 4-year-old, 5-year-old kids in there.
Yeah, that's
like,
awesome.
10 years from now, I'm like, this fucking be kicking ass.
Oh yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
like,
make sure you're nice to him.
Yeah, right. Yeah. All right, let's wrap it up on back to your business. So you're always welcoming people in to check the place out via email, though, right? Probably.
Yeah, mambaboxingclub@gmail.com.
Just roll it in and praying to Jesus.
No. Or to the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, very strange.
What are your hours are up? You open 7 days a week?
Yeah, so we're open 6 days a week, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Then we reopen 5 to 9 p.m. Monday through Thursday. And then on Fridays and Saturdays, we remain closed at noon. Sundays, we're just closed.
Sundays are closed.
Yeah. Yep.
You got to watch football.
Yeah, I think the old school boxing thing was like, go to church. That's not necessarily my thing, but yeah, being a Jew and all.
Yeah. How do you feel about Israel right now?
That's terrible, man. As my people, we're 2% of the world. You know, I was bar mitzvahed. I don't go to synagogue now. I probably should. I haven't since I was 13. But it's, you know, these people with the Free Palestine stuff just don't know the history. There's some people that I know at the Mayweather Boxing Club, some really rich ones that come from the Middle East, that are just all over their gram. I actually ended to part ways because they're spitting that, oh, you know, Israel's not right and blah, blah, blah. And it's sickening. Yeah. It's sickening, man. There's
one thing to be, you know, on political different spectrums. But this takes a whole nother level of, I just think it's hate.
It's what the Nazis did, man.
You could pretty much say every country in the world has a dark side.
Right.
Including the United States, including Israel.
Oh, of course. Of course.
If you're part of these rallies for Palestine, again, read a book.
Right.
Do some history.
Right. Or stop just being fucking evil.
Right. Or don't decapitate babies.
Yeah.
I read some. I don't mean to laugh, but I read somewhere where some guy was like, it wasn't 40 babies, and somebody wrote back, who cares if it's one, it's enough.
Right.
You know,
well, there's other people saying it didn't happen.
Yeah. It's when the hospital report came out. This is where my mind goes usually is, I was taught at an early age, believe nothing what you read and half of what you see.
Hey, same.
And when I read that they were all blaming it on Israel, I knew right away, one, why are they jumping on this? You guys are sitting in New York and fucking California jumping on these reports. You have no idea. And they're coming from Hamas. Right. So now they're the trusted source? Are you fucking kidding me? And within, 6 hours, half the places didn't even retract it.
It's insane.
It's insane.
I mean,
it was a parking lot. It wasn't a hospital.
Israel and Gaza is also home to many Arabs that have successful businesses, just like someone could here in this country, and to come down and condemn Israel after such a brutal attack, right? And then not realize, wait, these people are not racist. They give everybody, it's a democracy in that country.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's crazy to me to not even consider that there are full-on Arab families living in Israel that benefit from the country itself and are Muslim, and they're still coming down like Israel's the bad guys. But hey, we have that same divide going on here with a bunch of stuff. Yeah. There's movements here that are propaganda, and I'm sure you're aware of some of them. And it's scary. I don't know what's really going on.
I don't. I think that's the biggest part of it is, even before COVID, but let's just say since COVID, all trust with MSM is gone. So when you see stuff like this, it's like, why am I even watching this? Because I don't know if this is real. And with AI now, thank God for a lot of the real fact checkers on Twitter and stuff. Like, they're showing images of babies that are from 8 months ago in a different conflict.
Yeah.
But they're promoting it as now. They just want that shot. They want that. And it's like, I don't know. I got a lot of thoughts on it.
Yeah, I think Hamas.
But now Hezbollah wants to get involved, and they're much stronger than they used to be.
Their goal was to make Israel respond emotionally, which how else are you supposed to? And now it's like, good. Slaughter our people so we can now be martyrs. Yep. That's always been the objective of terrorists.
Powerful in their minds.
And, they fight these religious wars, and that's the martyrdom is how they get the support.
You are fighting someone that is not afraid to die one iota. They don't care.
They don't know better. They don't know better.
Yep. They think dying, like you said, is a martyrism, and they're going to, 1,000 women in heaven, and that's what they think. And they've been, since day one, they've been taught that. And our military is way down from what it used to be. And
they're saying that...
imagine if they really drafted now.
China's only 2 to 3 generations behind us in naval warfare.
Yeah.
We need to wake the fuck up.
Oh, yeah.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
And when you have, not to get political, but when you have people saying, go green, no gasoline. Well, think about this. When we pay for electric cars, we're paying for mining of lithium and cobalt, which is slavery.
Yep.
From the people that you say not to be discriminatory against. Now you're paying for them to enslave those people, but here's the bigger thing. How are you shipping these cars? Yep. How did they get here? Gasoline. So it takes more gas to ship this stuff.
How much fossil fuels are you using?
All to get an agenda and pay our enemies. Money for making batteries. We're shooting ourselves in the head all the time.
What powers these charging stations?
Unbelievable, man. I could go on and on, but
yeah. We'll wrap it up on our little Israel minute. Do you have any family over there?
I have my godfather, but we checked in. He's all right, thank God. He was in Tel Aviv.
Okay.
So, yeah, he's good, though.
Not great geographically. Is that away from the Strip, pretty much?
Yeah, but it's still within.
It's a big city there, though.
I mean, listen, Israel is a country that, if you have family there, they're telling you, you know what, there's a terrorist attack every day.
Right. There is.
This is life for them.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's sad.
It's very sad.
Oh, man. All right. Jordan, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Mamba Boxing Club, right on the Post Road across from the police department. What's your email? So if they want to...
So, mambaboxingclub@gmail.com and CT Boxing, Connecticut Boxing, CT Boxing is on Instagram, and we're on Facebook, we're on Google. You could get us anywhere.
Sound it up, and, go check out the place if you want. If you're into boxing or you want to get in shape, get healthy.
It's good for everything.
And let out some steam for sure.
Let's go.
You know, you'll take some hits for somebody, right?
No.
No, all right.
No, I'll let one of my fighters.
Yeah.
They could do it. I'm done getting hit.
You can check this podcast out at Apple Podcasts, streaming. You can do it on Spotify, and it'll be on YouTube. Unfortunately, my last week's episode, I don't know, somehow it didn't record on YouTube, so if I know this one's good, it'll be up in about 20 minutes. So you can check it out on YouTube as well. Check out my website, daydrinkingwithdog.com. And if anyone ever wants to come on the show and drink some nice Vivas with me, or some vodka, or some fucking tequila,
or Viva.
Or Viva. My big sponsor, Viva. Love you guys. Give me a shout out. Give me a DM on DDWD Bottom Score Podcast on Instagram. It's going to be wet all weekend again, so stay dry. I'm going to Billy Joel tonight. I will give a nice little update next week on how the concert was.
It'll be great.
I'm sure.
Billy Joel, come on.
I mean, you're going to know every song.
He's the best.
You know, little Long Island boy. But, all right. Thanks again, Jourdan. And,
thank you.
Be good. And I'm going to come and check out your
Please.
your gym one day.
Please.
Sounds good. Thanks, bud.
Thank you.